Allison at lunch today? I'm gonna text her. I'm gonna text Allison.
Hey, hold up, Matt's calling me. Hey, we got the food and we're on our way right now. Hey, who's coming, bro?
You're the one that needs help.
Boy,
It's even tough to watch.
it's really tough to watch. Welcome back to Living Oklahoma. It's a sobering truth from distracted.gov. One text, one call could end it all. We have Noble McIntyre of McIntyre Law Firm here to make sure that we know the law when it comes to this. And this is really some serious stuff.
You know, it is. The law changed in Oklahoma November 1st of this last year as a result of the 2 Oklahoma highway patrolmen getting killed in the accident in January of last year. That accident happened not because of the driver that caused it, did it on purpose. He was distracted. He was sending a text, and as a result, two officers were killed. Happens every day across this country, and it's really, really unfortunate.
And I think it's important to note too, it's not just texting and driving, it's distracted driving is the title for that, because we were talking about maps or anything that you might be doing to take your eyes off the road.
You know, that's exactly right. First of all, you take a young driver who's already inexperienced and you put in their hand a phone, which we didn't have when we were driving. I didn't have a phone. I might have a map, but I was going to pull over and look at that. And so you give a young driver who's already not that experienced something to distract them, and it only takes a moment. And your lives can be changed. The law changed in Oklahoma to make it a primary offense, which means the officer can now pull you over if they see that you're texting and driving or using your phone. And it's a $100 fine. It's really not a law that has a lot of teeth, because it's a $100 fine, there's no points to go on your record. I mean, changing lanes without signaling is a bigger fine and has points on your records. So really it was just a way for the officer to pull you over and start educating. I don't know that it's really going to change behavior. We need to start changing behaviors and telling kids, not just kids, our age
all
too,
of us,
yes.
what can happen if you do this and you hurt somebody. Because if you hurt somebody or kill somebody while you're texting and driving, now that this law is in place and now that you've been put on notice, the consequences are going to be more severe.
Well, let's take a look at some distracted driving facts. Okay, traffic crashes are the leading cause of death for American teens. And when it comes to distracted driving, young people are among the most likely to text and talk behind the wheel. According to enddistracteddriving.org, 88% of us feel threatened when other drivers are on their cell phones. However, 67% of us still use our cell phones while driving. So
Yeah.
what's going on here?
Well, you know, and the one fact that you didn't put up is that a person who's distracted texting and driving is 6 times more likely to cause an accident than a driver that's drinking and driving. So you have
Wow.
you have drinking and driving, and the reason is because people that have been drinking and driving, they're trying to pay attention. They don't want to get pulled over by the police. They don't want to cause an accident. So even though they're impaired, they're trying. Versus somebody who's not impaired but completely distracted, driving down the road looking at their phone, 6 times more likely to cause an accident.
Now this is personal to you.
It's very personal. My daughter, who's now just turned 18, I think we have a picture of her car that we can put up. She was involved in an accident the day before Mother's Day.
Oh my goodness.
She was on her way to get a snow cone. If you look at that, had she stopped and picked up my other daughter with her, my other daughter would not have survived. The passenger side door actually came across and hit my daughter in the driver's side. She was the only person in the vehicle. She wasn't texting. She wasn't doing anything like that. What she'd done was she was going to get a snow cone in an unfamiliar place, and she'd put into her maps the location. And as she went to go to turn, she simply glanced down at it to make sure that she was going the right way. And when she looked up, a car had cleared and she thought it was clear, and she turned right in front of another woman who's going 65 miles an hour. And my daughter just absolutely got creamed. And I'd probably still be laying beside the road if it was me. Fortunately, she's young. She's going to have some neck injuries and neck problems the rest of her life, but she's alive. She got out of the hospital fairly quickly, but it could have ended so much more differently. And so, you know, it's a very personal thing to me. Nobody thinks that this is going to be them. They just don't think it's going to be them, but it might be. I have a tremendous friend who's coming to Oklahoma City to speak to the public schools here next month, whose daughter Casey was killed by a texting driver. She was walking across the street in a crosswalk, and a guy was looking at his phone and just ran over her, 17 years old. And, you know, it's tough enough to get through. There's so many ways that you can get hurt, injured, or killed. We got to get these phones out of people's hands when they're texting and driving and things like that.
And again, this is a lesson for all of us, parents included, because the kids are watching us.
You know, they are.
Lead by
In
example.
fact, it's not like I can sit up here sanctimonious on my chair and say that I've never done this. I've had my daughter in the
None of
back
us
seat,
can.
my 12-year-old say, Dad, I really don't want to die today. And so, you know, you need to put that phone down. It's just so easy. You get a text, it buzzes, somebody calls, you look down, and it's just kind of human nature, and we've got to stop that behavior because it's increasing every day.
Well, thank you, Noble. And if you need answers and action, you call the McIntyre Law Firm. They are personal injury experts. Their offices are located at 8901 Southwestern Avenue here in Oklahoma City. And you can call them at 917-5250 or go to their website at McIntyreLaw.com. And Noble, I have a question. If you do cause an accident when you're texting, I mean, does that up the whole penalty?
You know,
or how
here's
does
what's
that
going to
work?
happen. I'm a trial lawyer, personal injury trial lawyer. If I've got a client that was injured because you were texting and driving, let's assume for a moment that you weren't. It was just a simple accident, and I'm presenting to the jury that my client has these neck and back injuries and needs to be compensated. A jury's going to look at that, and primarily in Oklahoma we have conservative jurors that are going to say, you know, it was an accident. They may cover your medical bills. They may pay you a little more than that. But if I say that you intentionally, it changes it from an accident to a preventable accident, that you intentionally distracted yourself, you knew that you could hurt somebody, you still didn't care, you put the community at risk for your own personal gain. Now you've got jurors that aren't focusing on this person who's claiming their neck and back is hurt. They're thinking, this could happen to me. It could happen to one of my family members. And so I need to send a message to this person and to the community that if you engage in this type of behavior, we're going to punish you. So to answer your question, what happens is the verdicts are much, much larger because you've got jurors that take it on personally and say, this could happen to somebody that I care about. I want to make sure it doesn't happen. I'm going to send a verdict that resonates throughout the community. Do not do this. So that's what will happen.
Well, with the texting law now in the books, I imagine that, might propel
Speaking
some
of
of those
that law,
judgments.
though, I'm always curious. Can an officer, if they think that you're texting and driving, pull you over? I mean, do they have the right to say, like, let me see your phone and see when the last time you...
Well, it used to be a secondary
Okay.
offense, which meant that they couldn't pull you over for that. They had to pull you over for some other offense, and then they could say, by the way, I saw that you were texting and driving. Now it's a primary offense. Now they can pull you over strictly because they saw that you were using your phone. Now, I've been on before, and we talked
Yeah.
about what to do when an officer pulls you over. And your question is good, because what you're asking me is, what if they just make that up? What if
Yeah.
they're just
What
saying
if
that
you
you,
happen
and
to
how do you
just-
prove it? Can they take your phone and make you prove? First of all, you can't take my phone and show that whether I was texting or driving or anything like that, because, yeah, I mean, a text might be there, but you might be surfing the web, updating Facebook, doing something on Twitter. I mean, there's 100 examples of people who cause accidents because they're updating their Facebook status. That's much harder to show on a phone if an officer just takes your phone. No, they can't simply take your phone because they still have to have that right. You still have your right to your privacy.
Okay.
But in a your word against the officer's word, guess who the judge is going to listen to? You're going to lose that battle. Now, it's only a $100 fine in Oklahoma. It doesn't go on your record. But if you cause an accident, you're going to have some problems. But if it's a civil case and I'm the lawyer on the other side, I'm going to get your phone records. I'll prove that you were using it because I can show through data bursts as the data comes down or texting. And you might think, well, I don't send text, I send instant messages. That shows up too.
There's a trail for everything.
There is.
Yes, there
Oh,
is.
thank you
Great
so
tips as
much.
always, Noble.
We always
Thank you.
learn so much. Well, with the warm weather, it means getting your flower beds ready to flourish.
We will have Pam Patty here for Growing Oklahoma, and we're talking gardening tools and equipment.
And coming up, we have Dr. Purvi Parikh and Dr. Carrie Sennett to tell us which allergy areas are the worst and what you can do if allergies are giving you trouble.